Aquarius, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your bonus reading. You've got two bonus readings on the channel. You've got, let me give you a quick rundown. You've got your extended Love Celtic Cross reading for the month of October 2017. That's bonus reading number one. Bonus reading number two is he or she. Now it's how does he or she feel about me? All right, so each of the signs have got this one. I'll show you what we do in this one in a moment. And for this one I'm using the Rider-Waite. This is, for each of the readings that I do, I use a particular deck, and this one is particularly geared towards how does he or she feel about me, and you can get this on the website as well as the general reading here for each of the signs. And also you've got just a general Celtic cross reading, just general, because not everybody wants to hear about love. Now these readings are geared towards people who are in love with people or thinking about someone, and you might be involved with someone. So on the general reading that you're going to get, so the normal general reading, which is quite short this time because of the other readings, you'll also get a bonus reading on that as well, which is for singles. So those of you who are completely single, there's nobody else in the frame, you'll get a reading for singles. Okay, so let's have a look at this particular reading. Sorry, my Velcro's tabletop thing for the readings tends to get a little bit messy, man. So what we're going to do with this reading, which is that is he, she the one? No, sorry, it's how does he or she feel about me? So for Aquarius, what we're asking the universe is, Universe Spirit, this is how does he or she feel? And the funny thing is, I've got my, if you just bear with me one moment, Aquarius, because I always have my plan for the reading out. I'm wondering if this is it here. No, it's not. I don't even know where it is now. I always have my plan for the reading because I forget sometimes how the plan goes, and it's easier for me too. I've got so much paper, bits and bobs. Just bear with me one moment. Just want to see if it's in my folder here. Unbelievable. I can never find exactly what I'm looking for. I mean, I tend to just have so much, and I need to sort of remember. I think I'll remember how the spread goes completely. Okay. Universe Spirit, this is a reading for Aquarius. I want to find out how the person that Aquarius, I want to find out a little bit more about the person that Aquarius is still interested in, whether they're in a relationship with that person, whether that person is new in a relationship with them, whether there's somebody from the past, or whether it's somebody that Aquarius have been having issues with. So first of all, I'd like you to show me the person. Wow, that just flipped out. I've got to put it back in now. It comes out again, it means something. First of all, I'd like you to show me the individual in card number one here. I'd then like you to show me the person's attributes in card number two. I'd like you to show me the person's flaws in card number three. How does this person feel for Aquarius in card number four? How does Aquarius feel for this person in card number five? What are the strengths in this relationship or potential relationship in card number six? What are the weaknesses in this relationship in card number seven? If the screen goes blank or sort of goes blurry, ignore it, will come back to being sharp again once for some reason the screen is hypersensitive to the blurriness, to when I'm touching stuff around the thing. So don't worry about it, Aquarius, it will come back into focus in a moment. Show me the potential for a healthy relationship in card number 8. For Aquarius and this person. Show me what the final analysis stroke outcome is for Aquarius and this person in card number 9. And show me what the blocks are to Aquarius having a healthy relationship with this person in card number 10. Okay, so I've shuffled the cards. And what we're going to do is we're going to split the deck into 3, like so. Collect it back up, Aquarius, and we're going to start laying the cards down now. So this is card number 1, this is the person. Card number 2 is their attributes. So the attributes should be something positive about the individual. Card number 3 is what their flaws are. Card number 4 is what they think about you and what they feel about you, Aquarius. Card number 5 is what you feel and think about them. Card number 6 is the strengths in this relationship. Card number 7 is the weakness. Card number 8 is the potential for a healthy relationship. Card number 9 looks at what the final analysis is, so where things could potentially go. And card number 10 is the blockages, so things that are affecting this relationship being healthy, okay? And what we do is we use the clarifiers afterwards to open up the reading a little bit more, just to fill in the gaps on the reading. So, keep forgetting to do this. So basically this is the overall energy. The bottom of the card is the High Priestess. I think that there are things that are hidden in this situation, because the High Priestess is all about things that are hidden in relationships. The High Priestess could be about a Pisces person. For some of you Aquarius that you're involved with, Pisces is the High Priestess. It could be that the person that you're involved with or the person that you like is very distant. High Priestesses represent either people that are distant from us. They can represent people who are single. Definitely when you get a High Priestess, this could be somebody who's a bit of a loner. Somebody who this could represent a platonic relationship between you and the individual. So there's all sorts of things we could look at with the High Priestess as being the general energy. As I've said, the general energy could be maybe the relationship's a little bit platonic at the minute. Might be that one of you is distant from the other. It might be that there are things that are not being spoken about. There might be things that are being hidden with this High Priestess energy. It might be about a Pisces individual, and it can also be about a very deep spiritual connection. Alright, so there's all sorts of things that we could look at here. But you've got 3 cards here, and it might be that there's hidden information here. It might be bringing sadness or loss or disappointment with the 5 of Cups, and you've got the 4 of Cups here. And this might in turn be bringing a lack of interest, because 4 of Cups is lack of interest, this is loss. So this is sadness. So it's either that one of you is distant. This High Priestess could say that one of you is distant, or distance, or maybe you're not speaking about something with a partner. It's bringing sadness and possibly lack of interest. It might be encouraging a lack of interest in the relationship. I definitely feel there's some distance between you and another individual, Aquarius, in this reading. Let's get who this person is then. So let's just move this slightly there, okay? And what we'll do is we'll put the general energy cards at the bottom of the deck up here. So this is the overall energy really at the moment. I think one of you is being distant. You can see it might be a Pisces person that's being distant, and this is bringing sadness. And I think that if somebody's being distant, you do get very sad about it, and then eventually it ends up being kind of like distance here with the 4 of Cups, well, I'm not interested. It might be that one of you is distant and there is sadness because you feel the person isn't interested with the 4 of Cups energy showing here. So it could be all those things. Let's have a look at the person, Aquarius. Well, the person is the Queen of Swords reversed. This is what this person is. I think the person might be very cold and very, very distant, and it was showing here anyway. And I think that this must be their energy. And I think that their distance with this High Priestess, it might be that they're either very distant, they might be very difficult to talk to as well with the High Priestess energy. High Priestesses show very passive people. So when you get a High Priestess person, usually this person's quite non-responsive. This person, there might be somebody who's quite unresponsive around you, Aquarius, and it might be bringing a sense of sadness for you, Aquarius, with that 5 of Cups, and disinterest. It might be that you're upset because you think the person's disinterested or not, and it would make sense because this is who the person is the Queen of Swords. So the person might be a fellow air sign Aquarius. It could be a Libra individual because Queen of Swords is usually Libra. But yeah, it could be the same sign as you, Libra, Aquarius, or a Gemini individual. It doesn't have to be there, but that's just because the astrological sign is assigned to the swords there. But in general, this person is the Queen of Swords in the reverse. Now, the Queen of Swords in the reverse, this person can be quite cutting. They can be difficult to talk to. They can be aggressive. They can be quite an aggressive communicator as a Queen of Swords. I get the impression that this person's quite cold for some of you Aquarians, okay? It might be that you find it very difficult, if you know them very well, getting any type of love from them, or even, say, for example, something like a hug. because the Queen of Swords usually in the reverse represents somebody who's quite cold. They're quite cut off as well, mainly because they've been quite hurt, all right? Queen of Swords, however, in the reverse can sometimes refer to someone I feel that is, because in the upright, this woman is fairly self-reliant, all right? She's quite, again, she's cold in the upright, so she knows what it feels like to get hurt by another individual, and so therefore she might be a little bit refrained, as it were, with this Queen of Swords. But she's not sitting in loss. That's the thing with the Queen of Swords. She's not sitting in hurt when she's in the upright often. Yeah, she might be hurt, but she's often the type that will put up a guard. So this person's very, very guarded in the upright. In the reverse, I get the impression that this person might be guarded, but for me, the Queen of Swords in the reverse is the type of person that would need a massive hug. So it might be that this person is quite guarded, but there might be, I feel, with this Queen of Swords in the reverse, for this person, almost a vulnerability to them. The Queen of Swords in the upright doesn't really tend to show vulnerability, because she's kind of like, you know, fuck you. You know, if somebody hurts her, she'll just be like, fuck you, see you later, ta-ra. That's how she is, and she'll always put on a brave face, because she's very guarded, and she's very kick-ass like that. The Queen of Swords is in the upright. But in the reverse, is a far more vulnerable individual, because this person tends to feel hurt. Upright or reverse, they feel, the Queen of Swords feels hurt, which is why she's often the single queen in the tarot. She's often seen as the consort rather than the bride of the King of Swords. So it's often seen as the King of Swords' sister, or it's a platonic relationship. She's not a romantic card. But I do feel that in the reverse, she does tend to wallow in sorrow quite a bit, and she can be quite abusive and difficult because of that sorrow. And also she's quite vulnerable, and sometimes I think that the Queen of Swords in reverse, all she'd like is a big hug. That's what I feel, and I think that you're dealing with somebody who has many complexities with that Queen of Swords in the reverse. I think you're dealing with somebody that might be cold, and hence these cards here. This person might push you away slightly with the Queen of Swords in the reverse. This person might not know how to interact on an emotional level at all. They don't even know how to interact on any level, really, with the Queen of Swords. All they do is completely put guards up, but really there's a real vulnerability, I think, to this individual. What are their attributes? Well, to put on a face, King of Swords, King of Wands, that's their attributes, but that's them. Shows completely two different energies, because the King of Wands is all about boisterousness, and it's all about being very positive. And this person with the King of Wands, this is either an air sign or a fire sign. I get the feeling that, yeah, it might be an air sign, but it can be an air sign or a fire sign. This is their attributes, though, and yet this is them as an individual. So I do think this person kind of puts a face on when I look at the cards. Because here we have somebody who hurts very deeply with the Queen of Swords, and she tends in the reverse, and she does put her armour up, but she's very vulnerable at the same time. But she is feeling some deep, deep hurt, and I think this person does feel that. But I think that they put up their defences, yet there is a vulnerability that you probably could see within this individual. And yet their attributes are to pass this off and to be man or woman of the moment. This person as an attribute is a great communicator, is the King of Wands. They're able to align themselves with any group, any person. They're brilliant at public speaking. They're brilliant at being around groups and people and being helpful. They adapt very well to different circumstances and environments. They're super duper confident. They enjoy being out there amongst people. They enjoy travel. You know, they're very fearless. They're a great spiritually motivated they're spiritually motivated, they're great at motivating others as well. So all of these things, this person's got a lot of things going for them, a lot, with that King of Wands, and yet they seem to, this is a face that this person puts on, and they put it on very, very well, because this is actually the true face of whoever this person is, this Queen of Swords in the reverse. That's the true face of who they are. If they're this in the reverse, then I think this person puts on a very good act with that King of Wands in the upright. This isn't truly who they are, but they're very good at acting like the King of Wands. This is why their attributes are showing us that. And I think that, what are their flaws? This person as a flaw is childish. Page of Wands in the upright. Page of Wands upright or reverse, still childish. This person's very childish, I think, here. Their flaws are that they, and I also feel with the Page of Wands, a flaw for them, they tend to, I don't know whether they tend to get bored quickly, because it's in the upright. In the reverse, for me, this person gets bored quite quickly. They run out of spark, or they run out of enthusiasm, you know. In the upright, this person could go for ages, but I think as a flaw with the Page of Wands, they tend to approach situations in terms of not taking things quite seriously. I think they have a problem manning up or womaning up. I don't think you've got a womaning up, such a word as that, but this person has a problem with taking things seriously with the Page of Wands, because the Page of Wands is a joker in the tarot. This is the type of mischievous kid that you get. This is the type of person that smirks behind someone's back, or they're having a good old time, they're having a lot of fun, or they're just in general not taking things seriously. And yet they're after, this is why I think that this, whoever this person is for you, Aquarius, I think this person does put on a face. I really do, because they've got too many different energies about them. Here their flaws are the Page of Wands. They're a joker, they're quite mischievous, they don't take a lot of things seriously, they like to have a lot of fun, they're quite childish, quite immature, they might like to have frivolous or silly little relationships that they don't seem to invest in very much with the Page of Wands. They're all about the fun, but they're not that mature as an individual. So that's their flaws, but who they actually are is the Queen of Swords in the reverse. So this person hurts on a very deep level, and they're quite a vulnerable individual. They can be cutting, they can be abusive, and yet their attributes are they cover it up by being the man or the woman of the moment. They tend to cover up a lot of stuff. They cover this up very, very well. So this is their attributes. King of Wands. We know what a positive force to be reckoned with is the King of Wands. This is somebody who's very, they're mature, they're the man or the woman of the moment, they're very spiritually driven. They can be a pastor in the church, for example, they can be a spiritual guru. They're really good at giving advice, they're filled with motivation and great intentions. They're everything that a woman or a man would dream of, is the King of Wands, and this is what they present to the world. This is what their attributes are, and yet they're this. Yet they're this. They're quite cut off as an individual, and yet all they need, I don't know whether this person needs something to boost. I'm getting the sense between this card here and this card showing somebody who's quite hurt, who sits in hurt, who gets really hurt, and yet needs that, can be kind of very detached, but yet seems very vulnerable as well. Just in those words, and yet their attributes are this. I think this person, they almost seem like some flaming, very complex actor in Hollywood or something like that. Their flaws are the Page of Wands. They're all about the fun. But somewhere, because there are so many different, because the energies around this individual, Aquarius, are so sparse and so different between the Page, Queen of Swords in reverse, and the King of Wands, I almost feel that this person wears a lot of masks. I think this person wears an awful lot of masks as an individual. How does this person feel about you? Well, they think of you as the Two of Cups. So they think of you, Aquarius, as their perfect match. That's incredible. And they feel the Two of Cups for you. So this person thinks of you as their perfect match. Two of Cups, possibly their soulmate, their twin flame. This person, Aquarius, also feels very much a soul connection with you. So they feel very much in sync emotionally with you. That's amazing. What do you think and feel about them? Well, you think of them as the Hierophant. So if you thought about somebody as the Hierophant, this is somebody who has great power. This is somebody who is super duper intelligent. If you think of somebody as a as a Hierophant, they're a guru. And it would sit in very well with that King of Wands as an attribute. This person brilliant at giving spiritual guidance, and so is the Hierophant. They're very much the same. King of Wands and the Hierophant are very much the same characters in the tarot. They're both spiritual gurus. So the Hierophant here, you think of this person possibly as being somebody who is great at kind of giving you advice, Aquarius. This is somebody who is brilliant at guiding you. This person you feel possibly has a lot of morals. This person, and which is really weird when we look at these energies here. It's so weird. But then maybe it's not as serious. But then we've got these energies here which are interesting, the overall energy. They think of you as the perfect match. They've got feelings for you here. They feel in sync with you. If you hurt, they hurt, They feel and think of you as the Two of Cups, their other half. their connection, and you feel of that, see them as the Hierophant. Possibly somebody who's great at guiding them. Somebody's great at guiding you. You see them as, I feel, somebody who, when you see somebody as a hero, and often this is somebody that you would put on a pedestal, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys have put this person on a pedestal as being the Alpha and Omega sort of thing. You know, this is a very godlike character as the Hierophant, God's representative of Earth, on Earth. So I think that you think of this person almost like a father figure, in a way, for some of you guys. This is somebody who you, and you feel the Hierophant for them as well. So I think that you feel very kind of, how do you feel the Hierophant for someone, really? You can think of the Hierophant in terms of those suggestions that I've just given, but how do you feel the Hierophant for this? But you might feel committed to this individual as well. What are the strengths in this relationship? Well, it's brilliant, the Devil in the reverse. So both of you are trying to come out of a time of breaking old patterns, which is lovely. This is really, really good, which is why we want to know why the general energy is that, because that's interesting. Because everything else, despite this, we could probably look and try and, you know, get some traction on this, try and put down some cards and find out exactly what it is going here, because these are really nice. And the Devil in the reverse is the energy, the strength in your relationship, and that's a beautiful energy to show. Because the Devil in the reverse shows that people are waking up. There's an awakening here that you can't be attached to a relationship that's codependent or toxic or abusive. So I feel that the strength with the Devil in the reverse is both of you acknowledge that, you know, again, it comes down to these spiritual elements as well. There's understanding with the King of Wands. This is the attributes this person shows, and this is how you think and feel about them, and they think and feel the Two of Cups for you. So just gorgeous energies showing up here. And the strength of the Devil energy, the ability to release what is not serving you in this relationship. And that's the strength, because it's coming from both of you. It should be coming from both of you, this Devil in the reverse, where there isn't the need to build a relationship on false pretenses, on toxic energy, on abusive energy, on controlling energy, on jealousies, on sex, drink, drugs, rock and roll. All of those external things only give momentary happiness. And I think that you guys are beginning to, whoever this person is for you, Aquarius, I think there is a realisation that those things don't work. And that's the brilliant thing, because it's almost like, because we've got two very strong spiritual cards here, you guys are almost coming to a place of another level, whatever this is within this relationship for some of you guys, with that Devil being your strength. What is the weakness? Well, the Chariot is your weakness. So the Chariot, with the Chariot as a weakness, sometimes this can be, well, what is it exactly is it that you're pursuing? Because the Chariot means to pursue. Now, yeah, it does mean victory, but also it means that you're being dragged in two directions. The Chariot does. So it's a weakness in a relationship. The Chariot can also mean a lack of love. We're getting a lot of, and it's interesting because this person sees you as the Two of Cups. They think of you as the Two of Cups, and they feel the Two of Cups about you. So that's definitely a love connection, a soul connection. But we've got to be careful with these cards, because the Two of Cups does not, if it was the Lovers, it would probably be a very much a stronger energy. But the Two of Cups can be, yeah, I really like this person, or I feel like I'm in love with them. But it is Cups, and it is an early card. It's still only a number 2. It's not the Ten of Cups just yet. This is much more intimate in a way, but it is still quite young, and Cups can be wishy-washy, so we'll have to see. Your challenge is the what's weakening the relationship is the Chariot. So I don't know whether one of you does a lot of travel, because those are weaknesses, and this is weaknesses. Chariot can be about travel, so I don't know whether one of you travels quite a bit, and I don't know whether this Chariot is really trying to tell us that the weaknesses are the Chariot is not a love card. Chariot is about movement and victory and overcoming hurdles and obstacles. So it might be your weaknesses trying to overcome any type of obstacles that you might have. And the obstacles must be showing somewhere between this Queen of Swords in the reverse, Page of Wands, and these energies here, because everything else seems quite positive. What is the potential for a healthy relationship between you and this individual? Well, the World, yeah. This is the best card, one of the best cards in the tarot, saying, yeah, there's great success here. There is every potential, because the World is the last card in the Major Arcana. It represents huge success. So, yeah, You've got a massive potential here, Aquarius, for great success with whoever this person is. What is the final analysis? Well, the final analysis, funny, I mean, it's showing all sorts of shit on this reading. That's interesting. The Three of Swords is the final analysis, so this is the outcome. Now, the Three of Swords is often severance, or this is about getting the heart-to-heart on a matter. Three of Swords can be a heart-to-heart, it can be a difficult communication. And it's weird, because everything here, you got great cards. This person sees you and thinks about you and feels about you, the Two of Cups. You feel about them and think about them as the Hierophant. They're a guiding light for you. They're somebody who's very honest, somebody who's very moralistic, somebody who could teach you a great deal. You see them not just as somebody that you're interested in or a lover, you also see them as a great guidance person as well. The strengths in your relationship are the Devil in the reverse. You can't get better than that. This is about releasing change, and I think there's really a strong understanding between you and whoever this person is, Aquarius, that you're letting go of whatever it was that was really inflicting on the relationship. And as a result of that, the weakness is the Chariot. Maybe the weakness with the Chariot is actually putting all of these things into practice, because it's about movement. Because you've got every potential to achieve something, but there's something wrong here because you've got Three of Swords. Not unless the Three of Swords is saying that the overall analysis for this relationship is to need to make some head and heart decisions, or to need to talk and communicate, because the Three of Swords is also about cleansing the air, clearing the air. So maybe the overall analysis is to do some clearing here, and the clearing must be here, the weakness of the Chariot. The person showing is the Queen of Swords in the reverse, their weakness is the Page of Wands, because everything else is spectacular. But even up to this point where I think this person might put on a bit of a face, because this is truly who they are. What is the blockages? Well, the Knight of Pentacles is the block that you have to have in a healthy relationship. Things just take too slow. The Knight of Pentacles is always the card that says, well, maybe let's just see how it goes tomorrow. You know, I really just want to take my time with this, because I have a long-term goal on this, so I just want to move slowly. But this card can also come to the point of stagnation. So maybe there's something to do with moving so slowly on this relationship that is going to be blocking this, because you guys could have the world, but your weakness is that Chariot moving forward. And I think that this could possibly tie in with that Knight of Pentacles, slow movement. So perhaps the weakness is moving forward because the block is slow movement within the relationship. And that's what might need to be cleansed here with this Three of Swords. I don't know whether this is a severance card, really. Everything turned up. Excuse me, everything turned up so wonderfully. But we'll see. We'll get some clarifiers out on these areas. Okay. So Universe Spirit, why is this person that Aquarius is interested in showing us the Queen of Swords in the reverse? Why is this person that Aquarius is interested in showing us the Queen of Swords in the reverse? Show me in 2 cards. There we go, the Queen of Swords again covers it. Because the Queen of Swords... Alright, so this person's been hurt by loss. So that they're quite inward, I think, with the Queen of Swords. And I think this person does put up a lot of defences. And they put up a lot of wall. But they're also, I think this person is very vulnerable as that Queen of Swords in the reverse. Because it shows that, again, this Queen of Swords, they're trying to protect themselves from loss. So this sword is here. And whenever you get that sword, it's like a protection shield, and the Five of Cups. So this person might be trying to protect themselves from being hurt again, for example. Because the Five of Cups represents to be hurt, and this person puts up a guard and tries to protect herself, the Queen of Swords. So I think this person's trying to protect themselves from being hurt, which is why they're showing us the Queen of Swords in the reverse. They're a little bit resistant, I think, this person around you, Aquarius, and they're also very guarded with that Queen of Swords in the reverse, but they're also showing a certain type of vulnerability at the same time. They're sitting in a little bit of sorrow. Why is it that their positive attributes are the King of Wands? Why is this person's positive attributes the King of Wands? Show me 2 cards. Because the Hanged Man and the Four of Pentacles. That's interesting. Let me think about that combination. Because their attributes, the thing is with these 2 cards, they're not go-getter cards. They represent stagnancy. And yet, the King of Wands is never stagnant. The King of Wands is a visionary. The King of Wands will get on a plane at the drop of a hat, and he'll travel around the world, and just carry on travelling. He likes a good time. He's consistently active as an individual. So this person's attributes are that they're extraordinarily active. No, it's because of the Hanged Man. You know, I'm so tired I can't get my words out. It's because of the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is a card about being... See, you can explain the Hanged Man many ways. It can mean that you've got a different perspective. If you can't work one card out with the other, you've got to look at what the similarities are. Well, both cards reference stagnation or suspension or things being held up. You've got this Four of Pentacles showing here, and this is somebody who's guarded. And this is somebody who doesn't act. The Hanged Man is a passive card. I don't even know whether this Hanged Man is anything to do with them. I really don't know, because this person's very active as an individual. That's what their positive attributes are. Sorry if I've gone quiet. I'm just looking at these. I'm just looking at the pictures, because the Hanged Man looks extraordinarily comfortable here, but the Four of Pentacles looks very stifled. It might be, and I know it sounds weird, but I tend to look at the pictures. It could be because the Hanged Man does nothing. So the Hanged Man doing nothing stifles this individual. Four of Pentacles shows somebody who's stifled. Doesn't always mean that this person holds back of their own accord. It might mean that this person, because this is the card of being lazy. Hanged Man shows somebody who's just relaxed, devil may care. So it might be that this person is always active. Their positive attributes are they're motivational. They like to get going, but it could be because of the Hanged Man. Kind of doing nothing is quite stifling, and that might be other people that do that with those two energies. Maybe this person likes to help others as the King of Wands, because maybe this is an energy from other people. Maybe this is exactly why, because this person shows us very hurt with that Queen of Swords in the reverse, because of the Queen of Swords and the Five of Cups. So I think that this person has been hurt within relationships. Queen of Swords is a card that represents somebody who's got their defences up, because maybe they've lost in relationships, or putting up defences brings loss, brought loss. I don't know what's going on. It's very interesting, those two areas here. It's starting not to seem to me though like this person's putting on a face. This is the only thing. It doesn't look like they're putting on a face anymore. As an attribute, they're very busy. I don't think this person likes sitting around. Both cards represent stagnancy and boredom. So I think they're very busy. Their attributes are to keep busy, keep motivated, because I don't think they like sitting around. I don't know whether this person's got any health problems or problems with their legs or stuff like that. It's really weird. I was just seeing something there. This person is showing us the Queen of Swords in the reverse, so they're very... they might have a tendency to depression as well with that Queen of Swords in the reverse. I think they've hurt quite a bit, but that's because of the Queen of Swords. It might be that there was another individual, a Queen of Swords, who blocked them out. So the Queen of Swords represents to cut things out that have brought loss. So it might be that this person's very withdrawn. It could be that they've needed to cut out relationships that have brought sadness, or maybe somebody did it for them. Their flaws are the Page of Wands. Why is this person's flaws the Page of Wands for Aquarius? Why is this person's flaws the Page of Wands for Aquarius showing? Only from two cards. Because the Four of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. Well, the Three of Pentacles is often the card about partnerships, and the Four of Swords means to withdraw often. I don't know whether this person tends to withdraw from partnerships. I'm wondering if their flaws are overexcitement, because it looks like they might be overly excited as the Page of Wands show, because he's like a kid in a sweet shop. So it might be their flaws are to be overexcited. Why is that? Maybe they become bored with partnerships here. Four of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. Four of Swords is often the card of boredom and the need to withdraw. And the Three of Pentacles is all about partnerships and laying down plans. But this person either contemplates that, or they're bored with it, or they're tired, or they're resisting it, or they're withdrawing from it. They're not having much to do with it. I think this person their flaws are to get overly excited, because it might be that this person, as soon as they become overly excited, might be that they take a break from partnerships, for example, or take a break from improving or enhancing something in terms of love here. I get that impression with this individual, and it's all because they are the Queen of Swords in the reverse. They've been deeply hurt, and that's because of the Queen of Swords and Five. So somebody might have cut them out, and it caused a lot of damage and a lot of loss, which might be why this person is like that here. They see you as the Two of Cups. Why does this person see Aquarius as the Two of Cups? Why does this person see Aquarius as the Two of Cups in two cards? Five of Wands. This person might already have someone else, because it's saying that they've got worries with the Queen of Pentacles. So this person might already have some form of conflict with the Queen of Pentacles, and it's not you, Aquarius, because Aquarius, you tend to be the King of Swords in the tarot. This person might see you or think of you as their perfect partner. Maybe they had problems with this Queen of Pentacles in the past. Maybe this is referring to what they went through here. I think it is. I think they went through problems with an individual here, and they're seeing you or thinking of you as their natural soulmate because they're referring back to something that they went through in the past. I want to see what you think about them and see them as a Hierophant. What does Aquarius see or think about this Hierophant? What does Aquarius see or think about this person as being the Hierophant in two cards? Show me. There you go, it's the King of Wands energy there. Alright, I think this person makes you happy. Or, you think of them as the Hierophant, or you feel that they're the Hierophant. So you feel that they're great at giving guidance. They're a very spiritual individual. They're very enlightened. They're very intelligent. They're a great teacher. It's more than love for you here for some of you Aquarians. It's more than that. And that's because of the King of Wands. I think this man or this female is showing here as well is able to give the greatest happiness through what they do. I think they're able to motivate you and bring you happiness. This is a very motivated individual who's able to bring you guys happiness here, Nine of Cups. I feel there's a sense of satisfaction and emotional fulfillment when you guys are around this individual. However, this person is basing you on somebody, I believe, from the past. Because I think that there's been frustration with another individual. That's why they see you as being this Two of Cups, the perfect partner, because they recognise that they had an issue with somebody in the past. And it shows here as well. Maybe their resilience here is based on, I think, something that happened to them in the past. And it might be that their flaws are they do become overly excited. That's what their flaws are. Why is their flaws that they become overly excited? Because the Four of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. I think because then, I don't know whether it is that they're not willing to, I don't know whether they're not willing to work or whether they're not understanding that they need to work on partnerships. Because the Four of Swords is where you don't work. All you do is sit out and relax and you rest. So I'm wondering if this person gets overly excited about certain things, but they get overly excited about it because of what it is, rather than the need to put any type of work into something here. I just get the impression this person doesn't put as much work into things, but almost feels that things, relationships, will magic themselves up into perfection just like that. I think you see this person very differently, Aquarius, to how they see you. Why is the strength in their relationship, the Devil in the reverse, why is the strength in their relationship between Aquarius and this person, the Devil in the reverse, shown me? King of Pentacles. I think because stability is brought in a reflection with that Moon card. So the King of Pentacles is all about a stable relationship. And I think that the stability that you found in this relationship has brought in a reflection. And that inner reflection is about the things that need to go, they need to be released. So I think the strengths are releasing patterns, or both of you might have recognised, Aquarius, that you need to release patterns that have been holding you back. But that's because the stability in this relationship with the King of Pentacles energy is bringing some form of inner reflection. I'm hoping that the stability that you guys have here isn't just an illusion with that moon energy. The weakness in this relationship is the Chariot. Why are the weaknesses in this relationship between Aquarius and this person, the Chariot? Show me in 2 cards. Because the Three of Swords. Okay. Well, the Three of Swords can be third-party situations. Knight of Wands is somebody who is a bit of a cheat, and this is somebody who likes one-night stands. So your weakness might be moving forward. It's a weird reading because this person, he or she is showing up as something that you really trust, but it's moving forward with this Chariot. And the Chariot can also be a Knight of Wands as well. They can be similar characters because these two people don't want love, they want sex. So your problem is either that this person is not romantically inclined here. They're more physically inclined. It could also be, and I think if this person is more physically inclined, because this is a physical card, it's a card of the athlete who pursues pleasure. So it could be that the weakness is either that this is such a person, Three of Swords, third-party situation. It could be Three of Swords, third-party situation this person's engaged in. Because the Knight of Wands is not a love card as such. This is enthusiasm. But you can see the Knight is rushing into the Three of Swords energy. So this Knight is somebody who rushes around, flaying his penis around the place. Look, oh, look, he's got his wand. Look at me, he likes one-night stands. Does he like threesomes, for example? Is this person being engaged in that type of thing? Have you had heartbreak with this Knight of Wands, with this person who's quite fleeting? He's showing us fleeting here. He or she is showing us fleeting there. Is the problem pursuing or moving this relationship forward? Because this Knight of Wands causes problems by his or her actions. Because this is the card of third-party situations, and this can be somebody who has one-night stands maybe with many people. This could also be the Three of Swords, heartbreak, disappointment, sadness is caused by somebody, Knight of Wands energy, who doesn't take things seriously. And we can see this person's flaws are they're not taking stuff seriously with that Page of Wands energy. However, the potential for your relationship is the world. Interesting. Why is the potential for Aquarius and this person's healthy relationship the world? Why is the potential between Aquarius and this individual? Two of Cups. Here we go. 2 cards came out together. Knight of Swords, 10 of Cups. This is interesting because the Knight of Swords is a card that says one is pursuing something at all costs. It's a card that represents some form of an arrival or information or something that's coming in. And I'm wondering that if what is coming in is change. Because we've got the 10 of Cups here, which represents change, and the Knight of Swords represents an arrival of change. So both cards represent change, because Knights represent comings and goings, and this is the card that's coming in. And the 10 of Cups represents a change, so it represents some form of a cycle, a new cycle here. Both cards represent new cycles coming in. So I think that there is great potential for this relationship, but there's only great potential because a new cycle could be coming in for the both of you here with this Knight of Swords and this 10 of Cups energy. Yeah, the Knight rushes out of the 10, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not reading it in terms of what it's rushing into or rushing out of. I'm just feeling here that both cards represent that if there was a new cycle that was pursued, you could definitely have great potential because you have such a link. You've got a link here. My only problem is this person sees you as their perfect match because they've had problems with somebody else in the past, Aquarius. So it's almost like the relationship isn't taken on its own merits. It's almost like the relationship is taken on the merits of a previous relationship, and that concerns me slightly. The world should be saying potential for a relationship is great, because that's what the World card is. It's about great potential, because the Knight of Swords and the Ten of Cups, the confidence to pursue happiness. If you guys were confident enough to pursue happiness as well, I think you could have great potential in this relationship. I mean, here you guys, the strength is that you are trying to wash away or get away from old patterns of behaviour for the both of you, and that is a real strength when people can work together to rid each other of negative energy, which I think you have. And this is showing as a very positive individual showing up here. But that's because of the King of Pentacles. Possibly some form of stability in the relationship has brought self-reflection with the Moon. Or the need for self-reflection, because the Devil card, when we're releasing old patterns, old toxic stuff, things that have been a burden when the Devil's reversed, we do go into in a reflection mood, which the Moon can represent. The need to go down deep and self-reflect. And this is a card about stability. So I feel that there is a great strength in whoever you and this individual are, Aquarius. But your weakness is this Chariot, moving things forward. Because of the Three of Swords, and that can be difficulties communicating. Are there any difficulties communicating with this person? Do they travel a lot, or is it something to do with their personality, or are they a plier type? I think you have difficulties communicating for some of you guys. The Three of Swords is the final analysis. Why is the Three of Swords the final analysis on this relationship? Why is the final analysis of Three of Swords for Aquarius and this individual showing me? 2 cards. Because the Empress. Okay, so I think this is not, I think this is good. I think that this Three of Swords is saying that the overall analysis is, with this Three of Swords, there is a cleansing. If there is cleansing used, if there is cleansing taken, if there is a heart-to-heart going on with the Three of Swords. So Three of Swords is all about cleansing a situation, not just about severance or breakup or separation. It literally is about getting to the heart of the matter. So the final analysis is Three of Swords. It's the need to get to the heart of the matter. Because this Emperor, this relationship has the potential with the Empress to prosper and bloom and yield some form of a long-term commitment between you and this individual. Because the Ace of Pentacles is about the potential for long-term commitments, and the Empress is about a relationship that has prosperity and it's abundant, and it has the ability to grow in a very healthy way. So growth and commitment are the reason for this. So the final analysis is the Three of Swords, and I think that this is saying that the final analysis is there is a heart-to-heart. There is the need to get to the heart of the matter for you and this individual, Aquarius, and that's because the Empress and the Ace of Pentacles, there is the potential for healthy growth within this relationship. Definitely with these 2 cards. It's almost like there's a lot of stuff you need to do with this individual, and it's almost like this individual has to be invested in this as well if this is going to work. Okay? If this is going to work, then there has to be an investment on both sides. That Three of Swords is ruled by Libra. So there is the need to find justice and balance and equilibrium in the relationship, and that's what the Three of Swords is. Yes, it is about severance and heart-to-hearts, but we talk with the Three of Swords. We talk in order to gain some form of clarity. It's about washing away of difficult energies, because there is growth here with the Empress energy that could lead to, with the Ace of Pentacles, some long-term commitment, but it's all about getting things out there. And you've got a really good platform with whoever this person is, Aquarius. But I feel that this is the High Priestess. I think the overall energies is one of you, and I don't think it's you. I think it's this other person. I think this other person is being distant here, and it's resulting in sadness. It might be resulting in sadness for you guys. It might be that you feel upset this person doesn't want this thing with you. But I think this person's been hurt here. I think they've been hurt. And I do think they put up a wall here, and I think that they see you as the Two of Cups. their natural soulmate, but it's all based on their problems. It's either that they're worried about or upset, or they've had problems with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Aquarius, or it might be that they're worried about settling down. Queen of Pentacles is all about settling down and nurturing relationships. So but neither one of these is right to see you as a soulmate, and that's the only reason I don't like it showing that. I don't really like it showing that, because it just doesn't seem. We've got the Five of Wands in the mix. When you get Five of Wands, it's about being worried, it's about being fearful, it's about having arguments. It's either this person's argued with somebody in the past, they've had a problematic relationship with another individual in the past, or maybe they're worried about settling down and nurturing a relationship with that Queen of Pentacles, and neither one of those excuses is right to see anybody as a soulmate, because it's suggesting that they see you and they think of you as this, because there are ulterior motives or other agendas for them wanting some form of a relationship here. The Knight of Pentacles is the obstacles, finally, that is stopping you guys from having a healthy relationship. Let's have a look why in 2 cards. Seven of Wands shows rejection, usually, in terms of love. And you've got that Knight of Pentacles again. Rejection brings slow movement or limitations, I feel. And I think it's this person who's limiting things. I think that might be pushing you away, is bringing slow movement. And that's the blockage showing up here. Let's get this reading again. The overall energies are this High Priestess. I think this person that you know, Aquarius, is distant. And I think it's either bringing sadness to you guys, and because you feel with this Four of Pentacles this person's not really invested, or it might be this person so distant that it's bringing in sadness and a lack of interest on your part. But I think it's more than likely it's bringing sadness and the fear that this person isn't particularly interested with that Four of Pentacles, or fear with the Five of Pentacles, sadness that this person's not interested. But it's only because this person's not really talking about what they feel. I think that this person here with this Queen of Swords, I think that they're very guarded. I think that they might have been very, very hurt in the past. I think that they're quite vulnerable, but they're very afraid to show their vulnerabilities. That's because the Queen of Swords, it might be that they had to cut somebody out in the past and were upset by that, or somebody cut them out in the past and it caused a lot of pain to them. This person's attributes are that they come across as being highly motivated, very confident, with that King of Wands energy showing in there. This person is very active. They're a person of the people. They get along with so many people. They're really good at talking up a storm. They're just brilliant at all that stuff, and that's because of the Hanged Man. It might have been that they've been in limbo for quite a time. Maybe they've been holding on to something, or maybe the Hanged Man. Maybe this is something about a protection device. The Hanged Man can also be about laziness, okay? Laziness brings lack of change, maybe. Maybe there's something here that this person needs to change or something like that. Their faults, though, are the Page of Wands. This person seems overly excitable to me. They almost seem quite immature. I don't know whether they're bored in relationships, or they're bored with something here, or maybe they don't want to put the effort into relationships. It's a difficult one really to try and read this person, because they seem just made up of so many things, but I get a really cold stream running through this individual, really cold stream. I'm sorry if the reading goes over an hour, it wasn't meant to, but the cards are very difficult to read pertaining to this person, because they come across like quite cold here, quite defensive as a person here, and yet here they're showing as a person who's quite open. Their attributes are that they're quite open, that type of thing, which is why I think that this person puts on a little bit of a face, okay? I think they're very guarded with that Four of Pentacles. And here their flaws are the Page of Wands, quite childish as an individual, quite excitable as well, with the flaws being the Page of Wands. And that's because of the Four of Swords. I think this is boredom in building things, building relationships maybe. I think there's boredom here. Maybe somebody cut them out in the past, but I think that there's boredom for them in building relationships here. Because this is all about building and improving. I think there's boredom, which is why their flaws are they flip from one thing to the other. And yet they've been hurt. And yet they come across as man or woman of the people. Attributes, they're really good at getting along with loads of people. Very, very complex human being, I think I'm looking at here. They see you as the Two of Cups, their perfect partner, but it's either because they've had problems with the Queen of Pentacles, an earth sign in the past, this might be something to do with here, or it's because they're worried. Five of Wands means to be worried. Maybe they're worried about the need to settle down. Either excuse is not good enough to see you, Aquarius, as a soulmate, because it suggests anything else other than love. You see them as a spiritual guru. You see them as a guiding light, as somebody who could teach you a lot, Hierophant. Showing us because the King of Wands, this person who's so filled with life, brings you happiness here. And they're showing here as their attributes being the King of Wands. So I think this person really brings a lot of light into some of you guys. But they're very good at doing that. That's the problem. They're very, very good at doing that. Very good. And yet they see you as their guiding light. They're not guiding light. They see you as their soulmate. As somebody that they really get along with here. They think of you as the Two of Cups, a perfect match. Maybe they had problems with someone in the past, or maybe they've had problems nurturing a relationship, or they're worried about it. They see you as that for that reason. And yet, their reason, I think, is a little bit clinical. I think they see you as something because they're being quite clinical, Aquarius. And I think that you see them as something for pure reasons. So I think that your reasons for seeing them in a certain way is different from their reasons to seeing you in a certain way. And maybe that's why you've got these energies here. I think that the brilliant thing about this relationship, whatever type of relationship it is with this person, Aquarius, is that with the Devil energy, you guys are working on releasing bad habits, patterns from the past here. And that's because the King of Pentacles and the Moon. So for you guys, it might be for this person that there was a person around them that brought the Moon. Depression is the Moon card. It could be also that this feels like a stable relationship in which there's been some inner reflection on what has gone before. But the problem is, the weaknesses, the Chariot, moving things forward. Is this person pursuing other roads, the Three of Swords? Or is there conflict, Three of Swords, because this person's not always around, for example? Or do they show player type of tendencies? They're very complex, which is why I think it's a very complex reading. I think they tell you one thing, but they do another. I get the sense this person here tells you one thing, but then they do another thing instead. Whereas I think, Aquarius, you're quite consistent with who you are with this individual. The potential for a healthy relationship, Aquarius, with this person is the world. You can have it all. If there's confidence enough with this Knight of Swords to make those changes. You could have it all with this individual, but it's on them. They need to make those changes. The final analysis is head and heart decisions need to be made here. Clear speaking, Three of Swords, needs to be done. Because this relationship could have the potential to grow. You've got the Empress, which is growth, and there is the potential through this growth for birth, for new life, for long-term gain. There's potential with both. A brilliant card. There is so much potential in this relationship, but the blockages are this Knight of Pentacles energy, which is why this is either an earth sign, air sign, or maybe a fire sign individual. This person moves very slow. I think that this Seven of Wands shows that this person is quite self-centered and focuses on things at their own pace. I think it's because this Seven of Wands shows somebody who's quite self-centered as well. They don't listen to what other people say, they only listen to themselves. So this is another card about the self-centered individual, possible narcissist at times, whose only focuses on moving at their own pace. And that's the problem here. Just very quickly again, just looking at the trail of the reading here, Aquarius. I think that here, when we look at this person who's been hurt, somebody's cut them out, they've cut somebody out here, but they've been hurt here nevertheless. Okay, I get that. Now, if they've been hurt by another individual, they see you as this Two of Cups, perfection. Why? Maybe because they had problems with another individual in the past. And if that's the case, it might be that because you see them, or you put them on some form of a pedestal, some of you Aquarians, here and here, it might be that they don't have so many problems with you. So I'm thinking this person doesn't have as many problems with you as they've had with somebody else in the past. This person looks like they suffer from some form of low self-esteem to me. And it looks like you're propping up their low self-esteem. because the strength is both of you are working towards overcoming some negative, difficult energies with that devil energy. Now, it's either where, because of the stability within the relationship with the King of Pentacles, is bringing a need for inner reflection, or there's some form of an illusion here. But the problem is, and I think this is more about self-reflection for the both of you, but the problem is moving this forward, because this person here is the Knight of Wands, and they're always maybe pursuing other things. Or there is conflict with this Three of Swords, because this person is not 100% consistent. Remember, the Knight of Wands likes to depart but never arrive. So it's on them, I think, Aquarius, because you're doing your part. It's almost like because you're so supportive of this individual, Aquarius, I think they know that they can get away with shit. It feels like they know that they feel that they can do whatever they want to do. Alright? Because you're the one that thinks that they're this person, this marvellous individual. But yet they do things to piss you off. And they feel that they can do it. Because you put them in that place of pride. They've been through something with someone from the past and they didn't like it. And now you're pride of place. Because it's like, oh, well, Aquarius is great. Yeah, my ex used to do this and they were a bastard. But you know what? You've got my back on this. You're my perfect match. I'm in total sync with you because of what somebody did to me in the past. And it made me like this. But then it's almost like they use this as an excuse for bad behaviour here and here. And I think that the potential for a healthy relationship could be amazing, because when you guys have a connection, you have a connection, but only if there was the confidence to bring those changes in. The overall analysis is this Three of Swords. There is the need for plain, stark communication, clearing off the ways, because this relationship does have potential here. However, the blocks are this individual. This person moves slowly with that Knight of Wands, possibly with the Seven of Wands, quite self-centered, want to do their own thing with that Seven of Wands, which means that they move at their own pace. That's your reading, guys, okay? I just feel that with this reading, in a way, it was very difficult to do, because I think that I'm looking at somebody who's very, very, very clever indeed. I think I'm looking at somebody who knows how to play some form of a game here. I don't even think they're playing a game. I think that there is some form of... I don't even think that this person is... I think they might be borderline narcissistic, personally, from looking at the reading. I think they're borderline that. But I think that because they've been hurt in the past, they've built up some form of vengeance. It's either against women or it's against people in general. And when they find someone, Aquarius, that they feel has got their back, they will abuse that because it's easy to do. To me, this person's had problems with people in the past because they've created those problems in the past. They want to come across as one thing, but they don't do it. They come across as one thing to the people, but to you, they show you loveliness, but at the same time, they show you disagreement by wanting to be their own person and do their own thing and not really to compromise with you. You're doing all of the cajoling and the support work here, but they're not doing it. And their support of you is based on problems that they've had in the past. Because you support them, suddenly you're okay. But if you went against it, they wouldn't like it. You'd become like whoever this individual was here. Be careful of this individual if it resonates with you, because I don't get a good vibe from whoever this individual is. You could have a great relationship, but it really isn't. You're doing your part, Aquarius. It really is down to that person to do their part as well. Sorry the reading took over an hour to do. You can watch it all the way through. You don't have to. But thank you for your time, darlings. Take care. Bye-bye.